Welcome, everybody, to Yoga with Laurie. It's a rainy Sunday afternoon here in the New England Northeast on this spring day. And I thought I heard something interesting on the radio the other day about someone trapped in Peru during the coronavirus, and he misses the Berkshires tremendously. And they asked him what it's like, and he quite emotionally said it's like he's being held on a forced retreat without any facilitator. And those words struck me, having done a number of retreats over the years and know what it's like to be in retreat for several weeks. Can be challenging. It can bring up a lot of things. So I'd like to devote today's practice to the sense that perhaps you as a listener is also creating your own regimen for this time and maybe using yoga as one of your tools in the kit. I'd like to use the theme here today about working from our edge. Having gone through the Kripalu School of Yoga, it's a wonderful school of yoga to take you to your edge and simply have you experience that edge without forcing it, without injuring oneself, without creating pain. So take a comfortable seat. If you have blocks or something that will substitute as blocks, have them handy. Ideally, having the sit bones a little bit raised to lift the hips above the knees. Rock from side to side. Make sure the knees and hips feel stable. Rolodex the hips forward and back. Create a perpendicular low back. Push down with the hands, lift up through the ribs. Shoulders roll forward, up, back, and down. There's a squeeze between the shoulder blades and a stretch across the chest. Back of the hands press down for a breath or two to support the open chest. Lengthen through the back body, push down through the sit bones, lift the back of the skull, and soften the face. One way I've found to help hold me at the edge is to remind myself to hold a soft face. I like to refer to it as the Mona Lisa smile. So creating the Mona Lisa smile allows me to feel sensation and realize if I'm over-efforting. Am I going too far? Am I creating too much sensation? In yoga, there's an expression called stira sukha, which simply means stability and sweetness. So the stability we've created with our posture, and now the sweetness with that soft face, relaxing the shoulders a little more, keeping them back and down. So the yoga becomes a combination of these two elements, stability and sweetness. If there's too much stability, it can become rigidity. If there's too much sweetness, too much softness, we can lose form and lose focus. Find that edge of focus and sweetness. And let each new breath become a little deeper. Create a little pumping action in the belly. Exhale, squeeze the navel back towards the spine, lift the pelvic floor, empty completely. Relax the belly to inhale. And as the breath grows, belly expands. Keep breathing in until you feel the rib cage like a barrel expand 360 degrees. Exhale, release, squeeze empty. Inhale, belly expands. Keep breathing in, ribs. Breathe in a little more. Collarbones lift and widen. Exhale, release. Find your edge with the expanded breath. What's the edge here? Not straining, but creating a full, rhythmic, conscious breath. Add the ujjayi sound and find the edge for the ujjayi sound. The ocean sounding breath. Sometimes if the sound is too loud, it will feel like a straining, an efforting, a distraction from the focus. And sometimes if it's too light, too quiet, there's no effect from the ujjayi. Find your edge, and that edge will start to take you into a meditative state. So meditation's not about sleepiness. It's about being at the edge consciously. As you feel the rhythm become more and more natural with the breath, add the arms. Inhale, lifting the arms above the head. Fingers come together in prayer above the head. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Start to feel this rhythmic winging of the arms, lifting, reaching, penetrating above the skull, and then exhaling, rounding the back, dropping the chin, shoulder blades come apart. Inhale, stretching the front of the body. Exhale, stretching the back of the body. Start to exaggerate those movements so you feel the movement of the pelvis, the hips, the tailbone. Like a rocking chair underneath you. Feel it tilt forward, pelvis tilts forward, tailbone lifts as you reach up. And as you exhale, pelvis rocks the other way, tipping backwards, tailbone drops underneath. Now find your edge. Find the edge here where this feels interesting. Does it need to slow down? Do you need to hold a pause at the end of the exhale to contract the abdominals a little more? Or is there a small pause at the top of the inhale as you stretch and reach up? How many different ways can you find that edge in this simple movement? On the next inhale, lift the arms above the head, hold the hands, press the hands together in prayer position, hold the breath. Now lift the tip of the tongue to the roof of the mouth and press the tip of the tongue into the roof of the mouth. And hold the breath until you find your edge. And that edge will become a discomfort, a rumbling, perhaps even a little panic. And when you found the edge, let everything dissolve. Let everything become sweet, soft, relaxed. Feel the sweetness, the softness flood through after that effort, after that reaching, stretching, and holding. after staying at the edge. So in today's practice, we'll be staying at the edge for sustained periods of time, just to feel that motion. Inhale, lean back into the hands, change the cross of the leg, and then exhale, come forward into a passive forward fold. And in that passive forward fold, if you've got anything behind you, you can move it out to the side, using the elbows or the fists to support the head if you need to. And start to feel new sensations. You might already feel at your edge here. If you are, simply stay here for a moment. If you feel the edge is a little further out, a little more distance away, start to walk the hands forward. Walk the hands forward and start to feel the sensations in the shoulders, the back, the glutes, the buttocks, the thighs. Start to feel what is your edge. And can you breathe into that edge? Can you allow that edge? Resisting the temptation to fight the edge, to grimace through the edge. Could you relax into your edge? When we relax into the edge, there's this sense of being able to witness the experience objectively. To realize that a lot of our resistance to the edge is simply a reaction created by a story we create about the sensation. Now spread the fingers nice and widely, press down with the finger pads like they're suction caps, and pull yourself forward. Pull yourself forward onto your belly, extend the legs behind you, and come down, stacking the hands underneath the forehead. Spread the feet comfortably wide, toes point out to the side like Charlie Chaplin feet. Wriggle the hips from side to side, and then release the hands back beside the hips, palms face downwards. Inhale, bring the big toes together and start to push out through the toes. Feel the stretch sensations. Let that tension work its way up through the calf muscles, up through the back of the thighs, into the buttocks, into the glutes. Squeeze the glutes, and as you do, start to press down with the pelvic floor. Start to press down with the front of the pelvis and lift the head. Lift the head so that the shoulders lift up and the sternum lifts up. Now roll the shoulders back a little bit, squeeze the shoulder blades, and lift a little higher. As you lift a little higher, start to feel the edge in the low back. Explore that edge. Soften the face if you can, Mona Lisa smile. Stay with that relaxed countenance to help explore the edge. Squeeze the buttocks, squeeze the glutes, squeeze the thighs so that you feel support for that low back. And then slowly lift the feet. Lift the feet, lift the ankles, lift the knees. Start to feel new sensations, new edge. Lift the hands, allow the hands to float several inches above the ground, palms facing the floor, fingers spread wide. Feel the different sensations. You might experience heat. You might experience tightness. You might experience aliveness. Allow all those sensations to simply be expressions of energy, expressions of the body releasing energy. Can you keep that objective nature as you lift the head a little more, lift the shoulders a little more? Can you lift the whole rib cage off into your Navasana, your boat pose? Soften the face for 3 more breaths. Each inhale, lift a little higher. Each exhale, keep that height. On the next exhale, release, stack the hands under the forehead. Now bend the knees and sway the feet from side to side. Pause, rotate the ankle joints, and notice the new sensations as you rotate the ankle joints. Your mind goes from the sensations that you experienced, the edge that you held in Navasana, into the ankles. Notice when the attention moves to another part of the body. Where did all those sensations of the edge go to? Exhale, release the feet. Float the feet back. Hands underneath the shoulders. And gently press up into tabletop. Walk the knees forward and widely. Bring the big toes together and sink the hips back into the heels. Come into child pose. Let the forehead rest down on the mat. And then bring the hands behind you. Hold the heels. Hold the heels strongly. Feel the strength of the hands cupping around the heels, allowing yourself to be bound in this embryo pose. Gently turn the head to the right. Let the belly be free to expand between the thighs. Inhale the head to neutral. Exhale the head to the left. Bringing the head back to neutral. Now keeping the shoulders away from the ears, can you start to lift the hips? As you lift the hips, feel your arms pull taut against the heels. Let the chin drop towards the chest. Keep lifting the hips until you find your edge. Find your edge here and notice where it comes from. Does it come from the knees? Does it come from the thighs? Does it come from the low back, the abdominals? Does it come from the shoulders or neck? Can you keep moving into your edge and hold the edge? Avoid the temptation to go beyond the edge, to go into straining and grunting. Can you simply hold the edge and bring your attention back to that sweet countenance, the Mona Lisa smile, and then start to let each new breath deepen. Come into your Ujjayi Dirga Pranayama. For 5 breaths if you can hold. Each inhale, lifting a little higher, feeling the shoulders move away from the ears a little more. And on that last exhale, bring the hands under the shoulders, bring the knees together, and gently push back onto the shins, onto the tops of the feet, toenails down to the mat. Roll the shoulders up, back, and down. Palms face forward like you're in mountain pose on the shins. Let the sensations start to build. Feel your edge. If you need to grab a block and sit on 1 or 2 blocks to relieve the tension, you can do. If you'd like to go a little further, simply bring the hands back behind you and lift the knees. Lift the knees until you feel sensations in the feet. Shoulders roll back. Let the sternum flower open. And if you'd like to try a little balancing, keep the knees lifted. Bring the center of gravity back over the heels. Lift the hands, palms face forward. Now, as if you're holding 2 candles. Allow the sensations. Allow the breath. Sweeten the countenance. And then exhale, dissolve, let everything release. Come back to embryo. Bring the hands under the shoulders. Walk the hands forward. And I'll turn sideways so you can see this. Step the right foot forward between the hands. And take the right hand behind the right calf and bring the thumb of the right hand against the pinky toe of the right foot. Let the left hand mirror the shape of the right hand. Start to rock forward and backward. Forward and backward. Notice the sensations this builds in the body. The next time you come to neutral, curl the toes of the left foot, lift the left knee, and press back through the left heel. Rounding the back, and then flatten the back, lengthen the back so you feel yourself get longer from the heel all the way to the crown of the head. Round, and then extend. The next time you extend, pause and hold. Push through that left heel so you feel aliveness in that back leg. Squeeze the buttocks, hold the hips stable. Feel the edge in the sensations between the hips and that back heel. Now lengthen through the rib cage. As you lengthen through the rib cage, you'll feel the shoulders push back and the neck will want to lengthen. Let the neck lengthen and keep the neck in alignment with the spine. So the chin is neither tucked to the chest, it's not dropped forward, and it's not lifted up. It's into a neutral position. Now, pull back with the hands so you feel that exaggerated lengthening. You feel new sensations. You feel the ribs. You feel that right thigh. You feel the back leg. Soften the countenance. Come back to your breath and hold this for 5 Dirga pranayamas. As you start to become unconscious about your edge, come back to the edge, lengthen with the next inhale, and keep that length on the exhale. Two more breaths. And on that next exhale, simply release, bring that right foot back, come all the way back, child's pose. Inhale, come up onto all fours, hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Extend the opposite leg forward this time. I think it was the left foot this time. Bring that left hand around behind the left calf. The thumb matches the pinky toe. Hands line up. Curl the toes of that back foot. And as you do, lift the back knee. Start to round the spine to create sensation. Then extend. As you extend, push out through the back heel. Shoulders come back, but the ribs lift up. See if you can get that dual action. Shoulders pull back, ribs lift up, and this is going to create length in the body. You're moving towards your edge. Keep the face soft. Keep the breath flowing. And notice who you become when you're at your edge. I have a little voice inside of me that every now and then says, oh, that's enough. Why don't we finish a little early? You've done enough here. And so I notice more and more as I hold the edge, there's this temptation to fall back from the edge, to not hold it quite as long. Can you simply allow yourself to explore the edge by softening the face and becoming objective? Start to feel sensations. You might feel the sensations in the back of the right leg. Can you squeeze that right glute? Can you lift the navel in and up so you feel length in the abdominals? You feel the ribs lift up and then the shoulders push back. The neck lengthens just like a little turtle coming out of its shell. For 5 more breaths. Each inhale get longer. And each exhale relax but keep the length. On the next exhale, drop the knee, release the hand, bring that foot back, come all the way back to child pose, and take a moment in child to simply experience the sweetness of dissolution, the sweetness of letting go. Flood the body with slow Dirga pranayamas, expanded breaths. Relaxing any tension that doesn't need to be held. Inhale, come up, hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Bring that right foot forward to that right hand. Keep the hands each side. Drop the toes of the back foot. And then inhale, reach up into kneeling warrior, exalted warrior. Allow your sensations to come forward. Now the knee is hovering over the ankle here. Normally I'd say that's a no-no, but because we're holding kneeling warrior, feel that stability, feel the sensations, and then come back. As you come back, drop the sit bones down to the heel. If you can, sit on the heel and lift the toes of that front foot and bring the head down towards the knee so you feel the posterior chain of that right leg stretching out, calf, hamstring, right up into the glutes and the low back. Half Hanuman. Inhale, push forward, hips float forward, curl the toes of the back foot, sweep the hands up, kneeling warrior with toes curled. Engage the buttocks. Engage the inner thighs, engage the feet. The lower body preparing to hold the full weight of the body, preparing to lift that back knee. Bring your attention onto the focus. On the next inhale, float that left knee up and drive back through that left calcaneus, that left heel bone. And notice that front leg. Can you keep that front leg stable? Keep that knee from popping inwards. Feel runner's lunge. Feel your edge. Soften the countenance, soften the face, soften the shoulders back and down. Expanded breath. 2 more breaths. Push back through that left heel. Find your edge. Now on the next exhale, bring the hands down to the mat or blocks. I'm going to grab blocks just to show you what it looks like. Keep left knee lifted, but straighten both legs. Push back through that back heel. Lift the toes of the front foot. Now bring the head to the knee. And feel that sensation in the back of that right hamstring. Find your edge. Surf that edge with breath, with ease, and just noticing sensations and allowing the sensations. Give up this reaction to sensations. Just for a moment, relax into the sensations and simply observe objectively. Feel it as energy, pure energy. Exhale, lower the foot, lower the knee. Float that foot back, child pose. Let everything dissolve. And for a moment in that dissolution, bring your attention to the right side of the body. And then the left. And notice any contrast. Did you change the phenomena of energy in the body on one side? In yoga, we start to take back a sense that we have more input, more say in the way we feel. It's a subtle growing process that as you experience, as you practice your yoga, you'll start to feel a sense of mastery, a sense of ownership, a sense of responsibility for the way I feel. Less and less blaming the outside world for the way I feel, and more taking this ownership by the choices I make, by the way I move my body, the way I hold my body, the way I breathe. Reach the hands out forward, come to tabletop. Inhale, bring that left foot forward. Left foot forward, stack head over shoulders, shoulders over hips, raise the arms, kneeling warrior. And then start to sway forwards and backward. Forward and backward. And as you come forward, feel the edge in that forward momentum. Feel it in that right hip flexor. As you come back, you might feel your edge in a little back bend, reaching the arms back. So we can find our edge dynamically as well as statically. So when you do your vinyasa flow, you can also find those edges. Like a pendulum, swinging out, finding its edge in one direction, and then it comes back, finds its edge in the other. The next time you come to neutral, pause. Prepare from the waist down. Soft countenance. Left leg strong, arch lifted, ready to embrace the weight of the body. Curl the toes of the right foot. Engage the right glute. Feel the right quadricep. Feel the body prepare as you inhale, lift that back knee. As you lift that back knee, keep the body strong. Keep the countenance soft as you inspect that front knee, not collapsing inwards. Not allowing that right heel to move away from its edge. Pushing back and feeling yourself surf, relax, notice and breathe through that edge. On the next exhale, float the hands to the earth or blocks. Keeping both feet where they are, push back through the right heel, straightening both legs. Feel the beginnings of the stretch in that front leg. Lift the toes, left toes, bring the head towards the knee, push back through the right heel. Feel the edge in this stretch. Feel the edge. Exhale, release. Drop that back knee. And bring that left foot back. Grab a block and come into a comfortable seated position. Unless you have a blanket, you can use a blanket as well. Now in that comfortable seated edge, we'll look at a couple of seated postures. We can cross the legs. If you have knee issues, you can have a leg extended or both knees extended. But be in a position where you can feel in charge of your posture, in charge of being able to sit up nice and strongly. For those who'd like to try a different seated position, you can come into, and I'll angle a little bit differently. You can bring the toes of one foot behind the knee crease of the other foot, and you can bring the other toes into the back of that knee crease. Swastikasana. Notice how that feels. It creates a nice stable position. This also, if you're doing breath retention, which we won't be doing now, but if you were, you can squeeze the knees inwards. You can squeeze the thighs into that adduction and pushes into the toes, keeping the back of the knees lifted, allowing to lift the navel in and up into your lock. But for now, just find that comfortable position. If lotus is in your practice, you can come into lotus or half lotus. Rock from side to side. Make sure you feel stable. And then roll or dex the hips forward and backward. Press the hands down for a breath or two to lift the ribs, shoulders roll back and down. Open that chest. Lengthen through the back of the body. And bring your attention into the breath. Slowly build up into a Dirga Pranayama. Let each new breath get deeper. If you're comfortable, layer on the Ujjayi, the ocean sounding breath. And if any of these techniques are unfamiliar with you, you can always write to me. I can do a class based on anything that you'd like to know more about. On the next inhale, float the right hand to the face, block the right nostril, exhale through the left nostril. If you know Vishnu Mudra, you can use Vishnu Mudra. Inhale through the left nostril. Change, exhale through the right nostril. Inhale right. Switch, exhale left. Soften the countenance. Inhale left. Switch, exhale right, and start to slow the breath down. Breathe with a little more ease. Notice if the ocean sounding breath is helpful at this stage, if it helps with your introspection. If it's distracting, let it go. Slow the breath down a little more. Notice the effect of this alternate nostril breathing. Nadi Shodhana Pranayama. Continue to slow the breath down. At any time your arm gets tired, switch arms. And as an option, the next time you inhale, hold the breath for 3 to 5 seconds. Exhale, opposite nostril. Inhale left. Hold. Switch nostrils. Exhale, opposite side. Inhale. Hold. Switch. Exhale, opposite side, and continue this alternate nostril breathing with breath retention between the inhales. Anuloma Viloma Pranayama. If you want to extend the breath retention, you can. Avoiding strain. Keeping the state of meditation. Alertness with relaxation. Changing arms whenever you need. The next time you exhale through the left nostril, release all breathing techniques. Allow the hands to float back to the legs. Bring your attention back to the countenance, to the face. Let the face soften. Let the breath become sweet, effortless. As if you're being breathed. And allow yourself your attention to simply notice. To simply witness the experience. Without adjustment, without story, without judgment, without analysis. Notice where your practice has brought you. Notice if you'd like to stay in meditation. Or if Shavasana calls you. Or if you're simply ready to let the practice go and move about your day. And whichever choice you make, I thank you for joining me. And I thank those people who've been sending me a donation at this time. It's been very helpful. And if you're not sure how to do that, you can go to my website and find out. Thank you. Namaste.